What's up, you guys? Hope you guys are doing awesome. So today we're going to talk about a very important topic, which is preparing for the next bull run, like the mini bull run previously from July till November for NFT gaming. So let's get into it. Before we do, just know that this is all speculation. Don't invest more than what you can lose. Assume that you will lose everything and you won't get rich quick, especially in a super high risk field such as NFT gaming. 99% of these games will fail, okay? And please do your own research. Don't trust random people like me out there on the internet with your financial well-being. So let's get into the video. So why do we prepare, right? So 99% of people don't prepare. That's why the only top 1% succeed, right? So here are the main reasons: to not only grow the profits, but to keep it long-term too. So in the bull run, it's kind of easy to gain a bunch of money. However, it is very hard to keep that money, which is why most people won't succeed. So if we're prepared, we'll be able to keep the money, which will give us the opportunity to buy the big inevitable dip that happens afterwards on any great blue chip projects. And from there, those would be the biggest gains made, such as with this previous dip that just happened. 2, it would be to avoid the same mistakes as last time. So maybe you bought in too early, maybe you bought in too late, maybe you held too long, maybe you didn't research specific parts of a project. So by being able to research properly, you'll be able to have the opportunity to not make the same mistakes as last time to gain even more profits. 3, it would be to spot opportunities before they show itself. So if we prepare now, we analyze what made certain trends successful, we'll be able to predict new trends and when they'll emerge, like social currency, like Facebook, Instagram, but a crypto version of that, music, subsectors in NFT gaming. Maybe there will be a huge boom for fantasy RPG, then another one will be like for like mecha tech RPG, then there'll be another one for like maybe social games like a imposter, I forgot what that game was, whatever it is, FPS games. So there will be mini booms within a certain niche. So if you're able to recognize these trends, then you'll be able to make the most out of them. Then scaling solutions, like Solana, Avalanche, Phantom, Polygon, Binance Smart Chain, all those other jazz. So here are some things I'm currently looking at. So criteria to zone in on. So for NFTs, it's utility to farm and get airdrops on instead of having no utilities. So a lot of these projects in the past bull run, they didn't have any utility. You just like bought them, you hold them, and then you hoped that they would release the game. However, I'm gonna really zone in on looking for NFTs that have utility to farm, where you stake them, they get airdrops of the token, or you just have any other creative utility. 2, for coins, it's utility to provide liquidity for high APY or other unique incentives for buying NFTs. So maybe a exception to this is if it's like seems like a super high quality game and it's like an extreme dip. For example, like Sidus, and they offer, let's say, like single token staking. Like Sidus was like 60% APY, which is still pretty high. And then it was like a massive dip, and then they have massive partners too. So that's an exception. But for all the other all the other high risk tokens that don't have those notable partners backing them up, then they'll have to provide super high APY, like 400, 500% or more, and that'll be before their token vesting of the team or big token vesting periods like partners. That's when they open, so that by the time they open, you'll have your ROI ready. 3, it would be to buying into projects, which I'll go more into in the next slide, which would be to deep dive most of them, which are shown in my other videos, and to stay in the community longer to really feel out the vibe. So the mistake I made was for some projects, I just stayed in there for like maybe a day or two and then bought into it. However, it would be better to really feel out the vibe like for several weeks to feel the vibe of whether this project may survive long term or not. So it's just about patience and to really zone in on that. So that's the benefit of the bearish market right now, where you're able to sit in on these communities without the token moving much, so that you can get a huge feel on what to buy. All right, so for textbook plays to only do, for me personally, just to get, if I really like the game, to get involved with the team, like a moderator, advisor to them, or etc. So maybe you're into coding, so you can be a coder for them, or you can be a graphic illustrator, just anything that can provide value. And then this will give you opportunities to get whitelisted in certain NFT drops or tokens, etc. Second would be Genesis NFTs. So as mentioned like 1,000 times before in this channel, to just really get into those early NFTs that could like 1,000x in the future, but may like 5 or 10x easily in a bull market, like within like a few days. Third would be high APY liquidity providing, as mentioned before in the previous slide. Fourth would be to play the game early with higher tier NFTs. So this is a new one. For example, like the FINA, like there's like 4 rankings, right? So you can play with the 3rd and 4th ranking, which are highest, which will give you high APYs. And then for tryhards, same thing too. There's like, I think 5 different rankings. So I'm assuming that the later ones will get you a lot more than the newer ones. 5th would be scholarships for blue chip games, like to continue doing scholarships for Axie. And then maybe the FINA once in the future, once the gains diminish a bit, and they have more scholarship-friendly features. The next one would be hodling a long-term portfolio with those layer 1s like BSC, Solana, Polygon, etc. And to take them out, take out loans. So this is another new one in like emergency flash crashes. Let's say a game randomly got hacked, but their fundamentals are still great. Then a token drops like 50%. So that could be a good opportunity to swoop some up on the dip. Last one would be to avoid bad plays. So, for example, getting into NFTs without understanding the game. So, I messed up on Binance and Crypto Blades, and then more recently, Dayton Arena. So, I fell for the trap of following a bunch of influencers without really researching the game. So, that was a really bad call for me, to be honest. And then another NFT collection, and then also just not taking profits into paying off debt in the long term for flash crashes. So with the recent bull run, I did a decent job of taking profits continuously. However, I feel like I could have had an extra 30-50%, like realistically. Maybe I could have got like a extra 200 or 300%, but like in like a perfect scenario, but I think realistically maybe 30-50% more would have been very real if I just was a lot more disciplined in my approach. Alright, so due to that being my biggest weakness, here are some scenarios that I thought of which happened in the previous bull cycles that may happen. So for sell zones, first one is dead silence. Yes. So this is when there's not much overall market. This is volume. This is kind of like what's happening right now, where there's low gas fees. People are forgetting about crypto. They're on vacation. The mainstream friends are ignoring it, so they're not really paying attention. And then the big coins like Bitcoin are going horizontally since there's not much volume, so there's like only mini pumps. And then some chats are active, like with NFT gaming, so those may become the blue chips. Then small caps have random weak pumps, like where they 2 or 3x randomly, but then they just get sold off from people taking profits, or just panic selling it because they maybe bought in the all-time high, it corrected 80%, now at 2x, so now they're trying to get away with like 60% loss or something. So this is also when there's like a big 30% correction for the bigger coins, like Bitcoin, Ethereum. Then for mid caps, like a 50% correction, small caps, like mostly the NFT games, like a 70% correction. So this could be a few weeks, months. For distribution of profits, it will be 20% towards like necessities, so ideally as low as possible. 5% towards stablecoin farming, so this is like as low as possible because we want to get into these really great projects. Then for the big coins, 30% of them goes towards the bigger ones, so that's we may take out loans against them later, and then we can also benefit from them increasing in price when the bull market hits. Then 5% stocks to diversify risk. then 10% or as low as possible for paying off debt, like credit card debt, student loan debt, etc. And then we want to minimize this. And then once bull market hits, we pay off a lot of debt later. Then for blue chip NFT games, like the super safer ones, we want to put in 30% into blue chips. So we want to really minimize the risk. So maybe during a bull market, you can get away with investing in those super risky games. But for now, in the bearish market, it's kind of risky because maybe a high risk game could be like the vesting period opening up in like 3 months. However, you never know. In the bearish market, it could last like 4 to 5 months later. And by that time it opens, maybe the coin corrected another 40%. And then the bigger investors have released their coins, and then it corrects another 50% on top of that. Then you're like screwed, right? Then up to 20% loans against big coins. So these are the 11 to 10 opportunities. Maybe there's like a super prestigious NFT gaming company that is releasing their token, and then it had a massive dip. So then you can take out loans against your bigger coins like Ethereum, Sol, etc. And then you swoop in on a dip. It 3 or 5x's. You take out your loan amounts, you pay off your loan, and then you use the extra money to diversify back into your blue chip NFT games or back into your big coins or the rest of the distribution of the profits. So for distribution of profits, this could be from liquidity providing, pretty much all the other ones mentioned before, like playing NFT games, etc. 2, it would be Karens still don't believe it. So this is when there's some overall market, so it's starting to increase. The gas fees are increasing, but it's still pretty low. There's a decent surge of people entering crypto chats where they're like, oh, I'm interested in this game and stuff. And then you can start to see that the chats are starting to be more active. Maybe the bigger coins are establishing higher lows, like they increase by 10 to 20%, and then they stay there. The smaller emitter caps are more sustained where they pump, but now they're like having higher lows or something. Then for bigger coins, maybe they're still corrected 20% from their all-time high. Mid caps maybe like 30 something percent. The mid cap, then lower caps typo right there, maybe around like 50%. So this could last like a few weeks or months even. So a key thing to keep in mind is to be patient, as a lot of these cycles and mini cycles could last months. Distribution of profits, it will be to decrease it for your minimum amount, because since your gains will probably increase from the increased volume of people, you'll just need less amounts from your profits. Then 5% for stable coin farming, so not as much stable coins, or it's still the same amount. Then for bigger coins, this amount starts to decrease. Then stocks are still the same. Then for paying off debt, that will increase slightly. Then for blue chip NFT games, so now that there's higher volume, you can afford a little bit more risk, so you can start to increase your blue chip NFT games. And then there's still not as much risky gains, but now for loans, since your bigger coins will probably increase in price, you can take out 50% of your loans against the bigger coins, which will probably still amount to the same amounts as the first scenario. So this is where you take out those loans for those super insane opportunities. And then same thing for loans against stocks. Alright, so third scenario, that's when the overall market is starting to heat up. So there's decent overall market volume. You see YouTube videos are starting to be a lot more present. There's moderate gas fees, so not too expensive, but not too cheap. There's a noticeable increase in crypto chat users. So chats are a lot more active now. The bigger coins pumped 30-50% from their lows. There's a lot of euphoria in the newsletters where they're like, oh, this Bitcoin can go back to like 100K or something. And then mid caps are pumping more noticeably and they're sustaining a lot more, and smaller caps are still growing a lot more. So all these pumps are more sustained from the smaller coins. So maybe for the bigger coins, they're like 10%, 10 to 20% from their all-time high. Mid caps are 20-30% from their all-time high. Maybe lows are like 30-40% from their all-time high. So this may take a few weeks, months again for distribution profits, since you're probably making more now, even more. Maybe 15% could go towards necessities. And now this time we're going to increase our stablecoin farming so that we have more of a extra white powder so that we can get into these amazing opportunities, since now they'll probably pump a lot more. Then 10% towards bigger coins, because you probably would have bought a lot of bigger coins already. Then 5% stocks to diversify, and 20% debt to really increase, since now you're making a lot more profits. So it makes more sense to pay off your high interest loans. Then for blue chip NFT games, even though it's the same percentage, you'll probably be making more, so you'll still be investing a lot in those NFT games. And then now we're going to start getting a little bit into risky NFT games, so 5%. So maybe there's like a hugely promising project that has a lot of potential, but maybe they have some red flags, but you're willing to risk it. So these are like your coins are below rank 3,000, 4,000, etc. So this is where you can really diversify and get some risky coins. And then you can still take out loans against your Bitcoins and stocks for maybe up to 10%, but we don't want to take out too much loans because it's still kind of risky and everything could still decrease, right? Fourth scenario is super spicy. Ooh, that's when there's high overall market volume. The gas fees are very expensive, like Ethereum's like $100 or something. Maybe Binance Smart Chain's like 80 cents, $1 or something. And then there's a big surge of people entering crypto chats. It's very active. So this is where people start having a lot of fun, where they're like, oh my gosh, I'm making so much gains. YouTubers are starting to post about their gains and stuff. Friends are telling other friends. So you can notice that if there are some mainstream friends messaging you, they're getting curious about it, then this is probably a sign that we're in this phase. Then there's some big and mid-cap coins creating all-time highs, and then smaller coins are starting to pump a lot more frequently. And then now you see that there's a noticeable, so here's the key thing, there's a noticeable mini trend of money flow of bigger coins like Bitcoin, Ethereum, to mid-cap coins, then to lower cap coins. So these are when the traders are in full return. So another thing you can keep in mind is if maybe you have like a 5 to 10 win streak of getting to different coins where you just keep winning. So this is a sign of that. Maybe this lasts a few weeks to 2 months, so that's a shorter time frame. Then for distribution of profits 12.5%, since that's just to do your daily living and now you're making more. 10% for stablecoin farming, since now we need even more white powder just in case to scoop up the dip of these money flow cycles from big, mid, lower caps. Then 5% towards bigger coins. So now it would make more sense to trade these smaller and mid cap coins. However, we still want to add to our long-term bag still. 7.5% stocks, since now that everything's heating up a bit more, we want to diversify our risk a little bit more. Then 20% or as low as possible for the debt. So we still want to pay off debt, but since we're increasing our gains anyway, it's still going to pay off more. Then 30% towards blue chip NFT games. So it's still probably going to be the same amounts as the third scenario, but now we're affording a little bit more risk, right? So now we're doing 15% risky NFT games. So now we're trying to do those degen plays, like those like 5, 10, 20x's, since now you have a higher chance of doing them and there's a lot more liquidity. Then 5% loans against Bitcoins and stocks, since we want to, since by this time you probably would have developed a big bag of Bitcoins already and stocks. So we just need to take out a little bit of the loan. All right, last scenario. It is named time to get the fuck out. So this is where there's constant all-time highs in the market, the overall market, and market cap are constantly creating all-time highs too, besides the coins too. Gas fees are insane. Ethereum is like $150 or something. People are paying $500 to $1,000 to pay for Ethereum mints. Binance Smart Chain's like $1, $1.50 or something. And then there's an extreme increase in crypto chat users. So You see the Discords, like they're increasing by thousands of users every single day as mainstream news just keeps talking about crypto now. Then you hear random and friends and strangers messaging you frequently. They're like, oh, how do I get into crypto? How do I get part of this? So by the time they got into it, it's probably too late for them. So that's probably time for you to sell. Then all coins are all-time highs. They're constantly pumping. So maybe you have like a 10 to 15 plus win streak where you jump from coin to coin, and no matter what you do, it just increases. And you start to get reckless with your research. You start to think you're a god. You start posting on Twitter about your gains and stuff. So not speaking from experience, of course, but this time frame is usually like 1 to 3 weeks, or maybe a little bit more. So for distribution of profits, you're probably not going to need much since you're gaining so freaking much. So 10% or lower for your needs. Then here's where we really zone in, right? So this is the mistake I made. I just didn't scale enough into stable coins and less riskier aspects. So for stable coins, it would be 15 to 25%. Maybe the first week where you notice that everything's like super insane, you do 50%, next week 20%, next week after that 25%, and maybe even next week after that you do 30%, etc. So you keep increasing your stablecoins over and over until the inevitable market correction happens. Then next off for bigger coins, probably Ethereum is like super all-time high, Sol is like super all-time high, so it doesn't really make sense to accumulate these bigger coins, since with these bigger coins you want to hodl them, right? But we're not going to hodl these since they're going to correct them. They're going to correct eventually. Then we want to diversify more into stocks, so 10%. Then for paying off debt, 25 to 35%. So every single week we just add on more and more, since paying off debt could be the sure way to get some gains. Then for blue chip NFT games, we decrease it, right? So we go from 30% to 20 to 5 to 25, 20, 15, etc. Because we want to decrease our exposure to these constant swing trades. And then for risky NFT games, it would be to decrease them now. So 10, 5, 0, since eventually there will come a time where all of the liquidity in the market will decrease, and then your strategy of jumping from microcap to microcap won't work anymore. Then we don't want to take any loans against big coins and stocks since it's way too risky. Everything's over leveraged. Everything probably will correct super quickly before everyone knows it. And so it's way too risky to take out these loans. So to clarify, blue chips could be like Sandbox, Axie, where it's like, it's been there for a long time. There's insane investors and stuff. Then for riskier, the coins like my favorite, Defina, MetaWars, Mini Real. I think Mini Real could be a blue chip. They have like so many big people backing them up. So games like that. So thank you guys for watching through this lengthy video. Feel free to like, comment what you think. Let me know what you guys are doing to prepare for the next bull run. What's your action plan? And subscribe to see more videos like this. And there are referral codes in the caption if and a MetaMask address if you want to donate to support the channel further. Lastly, these videos are for entertainment purposes and are not recommendations, as I'm not a licensed professional. You win in crypto by surviving long-term and through collecting blue chips early. So this means less excessive leverage, less liquidations, and through protecting your capital. So the longer you survive in crypto, in NFT gaming, the more you'll benefit from its 500x, 1000x gains in the overall market cap in the next 5 to 10 years. Furthermore, the best investments are the ones where you have the greatest conviction in through doing your own research. And the best play isn't some token. It's through contributing your unique personality and skill set to an awesome community's needs. So whatever it is, try to figure it out and really zone in so that you can market it, contribute, and then that's where you can get the best gains, not some random coins. So please don't play the suckers game of just hopping from coin to coin to coin and then just being at the mercy of these markets while these people buy it at 10 cents and then you're like, you buy it at $3 here. Oh wow, it's such a good deal. So don't play that suckers game. Contribute your unique skills so that you'll be able to get in early. You'll be able to have the most benefit. So thank you guys for watching and talk to y'all next time.